So wow, what an epic game of rugby, just one of the best games I've ever seen. Would have been an amazing World Cup final. The only downside to this is it was a quarter final and one of these great sides had to go home. And it's Ireland 24-28 against an inspired New Zealand. New Zealand, they deserved it in the end. Some amazing defence. Ireland kept trying to come back into this game. They get close, but they never got into the lead, and they couldn't quite do it at the end, even though there was a mammoth attacking phase to try and go from deep to get that win. New Zealand, very well deserved. Ireland distraught, but both sides take a bow. Just a magnificent game of rugby. Now, New Zealand, they will fancy their chances of getting to the final now. They will definitely fancy their chances against Argentina. If they play like that, not many sides could beat them, but you never know. Ireland, they know what a great chance this was, but once again, out at the quarter-final stage. But surely they can go home with their heads held up high. I don't think you can knock Ireland because, the draw we know was lopsided. We wouldn't want this sort of game really in a quarter-final, maybe a semi. But anyway, let's get into the weeds of this game, see how it was won, because it was just a fascinating game, backwards and forwards all the time. So after a bit of a dodgy start for Mo'unga with his kicking, New Zealand settle into a pattern with long spells of pressure. They get a penalty 0-3. When Ireland get their first penalty, a big difference is they like to go to the corner. I just kept thinking at this point, can you really turn 3 points down against New Zealand in a quarter-final of the World Cup? Well, yes, they can. They go to the corner, but they can't get away with the try, even though they got plenty of ball. Sam Cane, Ardie Savea started off right on it, and they kept right on it the whole game. Amazing fitness, amazing tackles. Take a bow, those two particularly. I thought they were epic. Kane's tackling is on another level these days. I mean, he's bulked up, we know, and he just hits with an absolute train. This time on Doris on 30 minutes, allows Savea for the jackal penalty. They were doing that all game. So much jackal threat from New Zealand. It was risky, but it paid off in the end. So that was 0-6 with a big 50-metre penalty from Geordie Barrett. He had a really good game as well. The pace, of course, of this game was phenomenal. That goes without saying. We knew that would be the case. The breakdown was where this game was at. Some really good work, though, by Hansen. Gets away from those shackles from New Zealand. And then Gibson, Park and Ringrose see Ireland go deep into the 22. But brilliant from Retallick to pilfer the ball 5 metres from the line. And they turned over some great ball, did New Zealand. And Ireland at this point were a little bit rattled. They were being un-Ireland-like. Normally, they're right on the shoulders of their fellow attackers, resourcing the ruck so well, but they've actually been poor in this first 20 minutes. They lose their shape completely on 18 minutes, and Van der Fleer has no clearers at all, and Savea and Kane are there again to snaffle the ball. So definite early signs for Ireland that they're not quite on it from the beginning. Now, in this first 20 minutes, Ireland are not being very Ireland-like, and they're not resourcing the ruck properly. They do better as the game goes on, but they were definitely off the boil a little bit in this first 20, and they lose their shape completely on 18 minutes, which they never do normally. Van der Fleer completely isolated. Savea and Kane, they're right on it for the turnover. And New Zealand, where they are really good in this game, is getting the balls back from kicks. Beauden Barrett a couple of times, some brilliant chips and regather. This time on 18 minutes, they exploit that disorder by ruthlessly going left to Fainganuku and Ioane. They combine for a try for Fainganuku. So that's 0-13 on 18 minutes. Terrible start for Ireland, brilliant start for New Zealand, and Ireland could actually never quite get back to the lead after that as much as they tried. And interestingly, on 21 minutes, Sexton, who normally goes to the corner, feels he has to take some points. A silly body check actually from New Zealand. But anyway, 3-13, at least they're on the board. And let's just make a note at this point, the ruck pressure. Goodness me, that was a difference in this game. Ireland, they tend to stand off, they try and be very clean, not give away penalties, and they will go for the ball when it's on. New Zealand seems to be competing for everything, almost every ruck. They were trying to either counter ruck or jackal, and you live by the sword, you die by the sword, so you're going to give away a few more penalties, but they were slowing that Ireland ball down, and all the teams know that Ireland thrive on quick phase play, and for most of this game, Ireland definitely didn't quite get that ruck speed that they normally have. On 26 minutes, Ireland they're a class outfit. So they get their act together, they get the ruck clearers right on the ball carrier's shoulder and pile through a tremendous set of attacking phases in the 22. Much more like it. It looks like Lowe has fired it too long for Aki, but ironically that allows him to sidestep the cover. The prop covering across Lomax is a bit too slow. He piles over for a top finish. What a tournament Aki's had, even though he's out now. One of the players of the tournament, certainly so far. I doubt he'll get player of the tournament because he's out in the quarters, but he's been phenomenal for Ireland, and that's probably the last chance he'll have at a World Cup. So anyway, great try, 10-13, back in the game. But Beauden Barrett's at it again with two brilliant kick and regathers, and then Mwanga to Sevilla, and then second kick. Looks like Ireland are in big trouble, but an amazing tackle from Sheehan allows a vital jackal from Doris. Breath of stuff, world class from both sides. But another struggle for Ireland in this first half was their line out. They were losing a few of them, Sheehan struggling a little bit, plus a brilliant 50-22 from Will Jordan puts New Zealand deep in Ireland's 22, and it's that magic man Ardie Savea. They get a well-deserved try, and it's just really good catch and pass from New Zealand. Ioane, especially with the last pass, so quick through his hands. Ioane, I've noticed he doesn't like a counter-ruck. He's not a massive tackler, but goodness me, he's skillful out there, and he puts Savea in. So good try, 10-18. New Zealand pull ahead again, but they can't just keep the pressure on. Ireland keep on coming back. But you've got to say in this first half, New Zealand had a good balance between the tight play, the kicking play, the wide play. It's great to watch. And just a little note on Sexton's attack. It's interesting that when they're deep, when they're on the, say, halfway line, Sexton really just catches and passes and doesn't attack the gain line. But when they're in the 22, Sexton does attack the gain line. Just an observation, clearly deliberate. I don't know if Sexton should have attacked a little bit more when he's further out, but I don't know. Maybe they just like to try and get the plays going, get the phases going, not forcing it too early. Let me know what you think. Then, just before half-time, on 36 minutes, a massive moment. Aaron Smith just can't quite help himself and flaps at a pass that beats him. Probably wouldn't have been a try, but, he kind of just reacted to that, so that's a yellow card. Sexton now, he smells blood, so he doesn't go for the points, goes for the post. Can they convert? Yes, they can. Gibson Park breaks off the maul and sells the covered defence with his eyes very nicely. Jordan just over drifting. Sure, they're down a man, but should have stayed inside really. And Gibson Park does well to slide over. So they get back to within 1 point at half time. What a great game. I was wondering if yellow cards could be the difference in this game because that was the first one for New Zealand. They get another. But the second half's just like the first. Backwards and forwards. Will Jordan rips off Gibson Park, then Van der Fleer rips off Fainganuku, then it's one end to the other end. Goodness me, it's just mental. 47 minutes, Hansen, a clever little 50-22 just from a chip kick, because if you're right on halfway and it dribbles out in the 22, that'll do it. Anyway, Ireland spot Mwanga wide left because they're down to 14 men, and they nearly get Peter Amani in for a crossfield kick. That could have been a big play. So Ireland absolutely could have won this game. They had their chances, especially when New Zealand were down a man. They try to get Sheehan again in out wide with a kick, but can't quite make it play. And New Zealand survive without any more damage from that 7 minutes, a yellow card post half time. So can New Zealand get that momentum back? Well, the answer is yes, and that's what New Zealand do. As soon as they're back to 15, off they go again. And it's just a fast-paced slugfest now. Ireland are right back on it, not giving away penalties in defence, which is their hallmark. Turnovers both way. Savea, it's like a Rocky-style slugfest. Who can stay on their feet longest? Goodness me. What a game. Both sides take a bow. I haven't a bad word to say really about either side here. Anyway, on 52 minutes, the try of the game so far, Mwanga attacks the line at speed right to that gain line. Jordan on the inside, Barrett on the outside, and Dan Sheehan, it can happen. He gets rooted like a goalkeeper, facing a penalty. He's going the wrong way. Sheehan commits to neither. Through they go, and Mwanga and Jordan nail that 2-on-1 on Keenan perfectly, and Geordie Barrett nails the wide conversion. So big moment for New Zealand there. 17-25. It was a defensive muck-up for Ireland, but goodness me, New Zealand converted it well. And yeah, just another little note about that ruck counter pressure. Definitely, gaining advantage for New Zealand, and it is getting them as well. They give away a penalty from just a bit too much ruck contest, but it's a bad miss from Sexton as he misses the kick there. But anyway, so it's still 17-25. That was a big one towards the end as well. On 62 minutes, another massive moment. Scott Barrett, Kane Severe tackling like absolute demons. Ireland still going through good numbers of phases, and it looks like Finganuku's got the jackal, but Whitelock is just on the wrong side. Ireland smell blood, go to the corner, and a really nice shifted drive from them to the back just catches the New Zealand counter drive napping, and they fly over the line. It's given as a penalty try. Yellow card again, this time to Taylor. So they're back to within a point. So this was massive for Ireland because they're back within a point, auto 7 points for penalty try, and they've got 10 minutes to make the most of it. But anyway, surely you think this is it for Ireland. This is the time they can take advantage. You look to the crowd, the TV shows Richie McCaw, he looks petrified. Keith Wood, he looks petrified. I mean, as in really into this game, they know it can go either way. There's a scrum penalty for New Zealand, and definitely Porter didn't like the decisions that Wayne Barnes was giving, but it was looking like the right decisions as he was kind of skewing out of the scrum and then pushing in on the angle. But a big miss for Geordie Barrett there. That could have pushed him further ahead. 67 minutes, high ball take from Keenan, but ruined by a needless tug from Murray. Again, fine margins. But anyway, penalty. Geordie Barrett this time nails it, and with 14 men, that was a massive penalty. 24-28, and that's how it stays. So Ireland didn't take advantage of that second yellow card period. That is absolutely true. Anyway, 10 minutes to go. The game isn't dead, though. It keeps on giving. Sexton of all people sidesteps a couple. Aki wins the penalty. They go to the line out maul. They're over the line once again. But what an amazing hold up from Geordie Barrett. The back of the game probably, maybe alongside his brother Bowden. Just a huge play. And then Doris drops a kick cold. That's probably it for Ireland there. They had their chance with the 14 men. They could have driven over there. New Zealand survived their second yellow card period. And then that's it. New Zealand do really well to grind down the game a bit, kick to the corners, but not before Ireland go through one more massive attacking set. They attack from miles further back than they would do normally, and I think they get up to nearly 40 phases. Ardie nearly has a jackal on 25, but no, he looks distraught for that. Goes to 37 phases before Sam Whitelock in the 22 gets the jackal to win the game. What a finish to an absolutely epic. Both sides maybe would have deserved to win, but New Zealand, with that amazing defence and then some worldie tries as well, do enough to get it done. Ireland didn't get going quick enough, still showed what a great side they are, but with the best side they ever had, being out of the quarterfinals just sucks. So I do feel for them. New Zealand now are going to be hot favourites for that semi-final against Argentina. Hot favourites, of course, to make that final then, and anything can happen. If they play like that, they've got a great chance for sure. Comments below on that amazing game. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time.